Welcome to the ADHDe Project. This project is a student-led initiative that promotes inclusion and respect for students with ADHD or who identify as neurodiverse. In this video, we will be discussing the rights of students with disability, including those students with ADHD. Let's talk briefly about understanding your rights as a University of Windsor student. All Ontario students have specific rights to accommodation and inclusion that are enshrined in the Canadian Charter of Freedoms and Rights, the Ontario Human Rights Code, and the Accessibility for Ontarians with Disabilities Act. These laws are grounded in the following principles of accommodation: dignity, individualization, integration, and participation. The accommodations and inclusive measures should always preserve the dignity of the person receiving the accommodation. They should not stigmatize or further marginalize the student, and any accommodations must consider the student's individualized needs. Remember that just like any other disability, two students with ADHD do not necessarily have the same needs for accommodation. Finally, accommodation should allow students with disabilities to do their work and receive services in the same way as their non-disabled counterparts, whenever that is possible. Ensuring that students with disabilities are included means allowing students to participate fully in academic and campus life. In other words, accommodation should not separate the people who use them from the people who do not use them. Some specific ways students with ADHD can participate as self-advocates in their post-secondary education include recruiting their professors, TAs, and GAs as allies, and using their course documents to communicate their accommodation needs effectively. Introduce yourself to your professor and their teaching assistants. Set up a time or attend their office hours to discuss your individual needs. Most professors want to help students succeed, but they may not know what to do or where to start. You can help clarify that. Inviting teaching staff to collaborate with you in the accommodation process allows for a cooperative rather than a competitive relationship. Read your syllabus and course outlines carefully. Look at all the dates, assignments, and class rules. Syllabi are kind of like a contract for the course, so due dates, assignments, and expectations cannot shift during the term. When meeting your professor to discuss accommodations, speak with them about the course and the assignments listed in your syllabus. It shows them that you care about the subject matter and you want to work with them to find inclusive solutions. For example, a student who needs the presentation ahead of time to be able to focus on the lecture asks their professor if they could have access to the presentation before the class. During the discussion, the professor realizes that everyone in the class would benefit from this arrangement and agrees to publish them to the entire class ahead of time. This solution preserves the student's dignity in that they have the individual accommodations they need. The solution is also integrated and inclusive, so the student is indistinguishable from the other students in the class. Lastly, all students and the professor benefit from greater engagement in the class. Cooperation really can go a long way. If you are having difficulty advocating for yourself, there are some supports you can access to help you at the University of Windsor. To learn more about student accessibility services and student health services, please watch our earlier videos in this series, which I will link in the description below. You can also connect with your student governments for assistance in advocacy. The University of Windsor Student Alliance, or UWSA, is the student government serving full-time undergraduate students. For part-time undergraduate students, the Organization of Part-Time University Students, or OPUS, is their student government, and graduate students are supported by the Graduate Student Society, or GSS. Links to student government web pages can be found in the description below. Knowing who can help and where to find them is the first step to becoming a great self-advocate. We hope you enjoyed this video and feel more confident in accessing the supports you need to make the most out of your degree at the University of Windsor. Thank you to our project partners, the University of Windsor Office of Human Rights, Equity and Accessibility, the Learning Disabilities Association of Windsor-Essex, and support from the Government of Ontario.